The Investigator, narrated by Caleb Kelley. Hello, my name is Richard Wilson, and I have decided to write down some of my stories. I guess I shall start with my position. I am my school's private investigator. This is one of my more regular cases. The case of the stolen notebook. It was like any other day. I was staring at a blank piece of paper when someone knocked on the door. It was the smartest kid in school, Joseph Albert Schmo. Most called him Joe for short. He sat down, sobbing the whole way to the chair. Someone stole my notebook! I asked him to tell me what happened. He was hesitant, but answered with, Well, I got out my notebook to take some notes. Then the teacher asked us to turn in yesterday's homework. I got up to turn it in, but my notebook was gone. I told the teacher, but he did nothing. So after class, I came here. After hearing his story, I made him a hall pass. Well, here's your hall pass. Oh, and I'll take your case. Joe left, and after donning my jacket and cap, I went to his last class. I asked the teacher, Mr. Geo, to verify Joe's story. It checked out. I went to his desk and found a surprising lack of gum under it. But the desk next to it had some of his papers on it, except some of them had Henry Wesley's name on them, meaning he may be the one who took the notebook. Immediately I inquired, Mr. Geo, some of these papers have Henry Wesley's name on them. Where would he be now? He replied with a monotone voice.
What makes you think I know where all of my students are at all times?
Seeing I wasn't getting anywhere, I went to look up his classes. Bingo! His next class was art. As I went to the art room, the bell rang. And out came Wesley. I pulled out my badge and called out, Stop! School investigator! He turned to see me, then ran in the opposite direction. Chasing after him, I quipped, That's not stopping! As we ran through a crowd of people, Wesley ran into a door that happened to be locked and fell to the ground. Once I caught up to him, I helped him up and asked, Did you take Joe Schmo's notebook? He replied, No. Then why run? Well, where's the notebook? I have proof that you forged your homework by copying Joe's. Realizing his position, he then calmed down. Okay. I don't have the book, but I know someone who might. All right, who? Well, I hear Jeremy Johnson has been planning to do something to Joe. This might be that. Would you happen to know where he might be? Well, I believe he has gym next period. So I went to the gymnasium. Jeremy had just finished a meeting under the bleachers. I was unable to catch what they were talking about. However, I got to Jeremy. Hello, Jeremy Johnson. I have a few questions for you.
All right, what you got?
Well, I have reason to believe that you are in possession of a notebook that belongs to Joseph Albert Schmo.
Well, what would make you think that?
I heard from a little bird that you've been planning to do something to Joseph. And earlier today, he reported his notebook missing.
Well, you're half right. I do know where the book is. However, my reasons for taking his notebook, you're completely wrong there.
Wrong? In what way?
Well, simply put, taking his notebook is only part one of my plan.
And why would you want to tell me your plan now? Why not hide it?
Hide it? Why would I do that? You are part two of my plan.
I'm part two?
Indeed. For you see, Richard, Joe's notebook isn't just some geometry notebook. It contains a list of people who purchased keys to their homework, and some who bought geometry notebooks as well. Part two, in short, is giving you the notebook and letting you arrest him, getting rid of him forever.
Well, the sentence for cheating is only 2 weeks in detention. You're not seeing the full picture here! You see, Joe is somewhat of the leader of the underground, as we call it. If he is in detention, he loses that status, and only a miracle could get it back. And I can only assume that Part 3 is taking his place? Not at all. I just want to get rid of his tyrant ways. The underground wasn't a place for a leader, just somewhere we could hang out. But he had to ruin it by selling his homework keys. I just want things to go back to the way they were before Joe arrived. If you want to take me in for taking his notebook, I'm fine with that. Just make sure you catch him. The underground was a place for students to go when they wanted some alone time. I even used to get information from some of the students, until criminals started using it as a hideout. I guess Joe wanted that for his business. No, that won't be necessary. The information you've given me is more than enough to pardon your crime. I got the notebook and left. Finally, I found Joe in the cafeteria. Joe Schmo. He looked up at me. Oh, hey, Mr. Wilson, how's the case going? Well, that's why I'm here. I do believe this is yours. I then took the notebook out of my jacket and held it out. He extended his arm to take it. Thanks, Mr. Wilson. Then I pulled up the notebook. However, I don't think you need this where you're going. I opened the notebook and put it down on the table. As you can see on this page dated for today, you have some interesting notes. He then attempted to snatch the book from me. Hold on! I'm not done yet. Hetty Berry, geometry homework. Henry Wesley, geography homework. Sam Wilkerson, history paper, along with a bunch of other names. And that's just for today. I can keep going if you want. Joe sees his situation and sits back. Well, now you know. But I had to. They were bullying me. And I guess these proof of purchase receipts are fake? But at first they were. Then one day I told them if they really wanted this, they'd have to pay. They didn't like that. So I changed schools and found the underground. I used it to start my new business. Well, Joe, unfortunately for you, business hours are over. I took him to detention, where he served 4 weeks. 2 for cheating and 2 for selling homework. His past clients were also given 2 weeks of detention for cheating. As for the underground, things didn't really change much. However, less criminals seem to be showing up there these days.